Hi YouTubers, today we're going to be looking at the second in reports from the National Secular Society in promotion of what they do and what they highlight. And today we're going to be looking at Jordan, which proposes a ban on insults to religion at the next Inter-Parliamentary Union meeting. Now, Jordan has introduced an emergency item to the next meeting on the Inter-Parliamentary Union calling for a ban on insulting religions or religious symbols. The draft resolution says that insults to religion represent a danger to all humanity. The Speaker of Jordan's House of Representatives has written to the Secretary General of the Inter-Parliamentary Union to introduce an emergency item titled Respect for Religions and Religious Symbols. Respect for freedom of opinion and expression. So by putting in at the end there the respect for freedom of opinion and expression, it feigns the acknowledgement of freedom of opinion. Yet, of course, it does nothing of the kind. The IPU is the International Organization of Parliaments and describes itself as the focal point for worldwide parliamentary dialogue and works for peace and cooperation among peoples and for the firm establishment of representative democracy. A draft resolution argues insulting a religion feeds religious extremism and fanaticism, terrorism and violence. Excuse me, and says that a way to remedy the problem is to promote mutual respect among believers. It doesn't mention non-believers, unfortunately. However, the memorandum says insults to religion and religious symbols are uncivilized actions that have very serious consequences on humanity, as they prevent the meeting of minds and a dialogue and feed religious extremism, fanaticism, terrorism and violence. The followers of Islam acknowledge the existence of other religions. Islam also gives the followers of those religions the right to exercise their religious practices freely within Islamic states and regards non-Muslims as citizens and an integral thread in the fabric of the nation. Well, this is of course Jordan, and that doesn't particularly go with other religious Islamic states. They wouldn't be doing that, for instance, within Saudi Arabia, and of course IS, Islamic State. There we go. We know all about them, don't we? However, I shall continue for this for a moment. Freedom of opinion and expression should not be used as a pretext for insulting others' lives, reputations, religions, holy shrines or practices. In today's world, the term religious symbols refers to prophets, places of worship and holy books, and a gesture of commitment. The religion of Islam obliges all its followers to believe in and respect all prophets and to believe in holy books, which is quite difficult because you're not going to believe in one holy book over another really if you're within a religion, but anyway, never mind. The Speaker has also called for an international convention to prevent disrespect for religions and religious symbols. Now, Stephen Evans even, of the National Secular Society, he's the campaigns manager and says that the resolution was the latest in a long line of attempts to impose a global blasphemy law and called for it to be fiercely resisted. Free Speech Campaign Organisation, Article 19, have denounced the proposal and warned that it would legitimise criminal prohibitions on religious insult, or so. I'm not going to do that bit because that gets a bit. I'm going to talk about it myself. So what does all this mean? Basically, it's another chance, another attempt to put blasphemy laws within international law. And that is going to cause a great deal of problems. We all know that blasphemy laws are ridiculous. Well, I say we all know that if got any blooming sense. It's not, we're not insulting a religion is something you can do without even realizing it. You could, for instance, just say, oh, you know, no, I find it a whole load of nonsense. And that in itself would be insulting to somebody who believes it to be true. Obviously based not on evidence or anything else, but just on their own faith. So it also stops you, of course, having any dialogue or discussion as to the sense of the scriptures. The scriptures often say things which we find morally distasteful today, and I don't really need to tell any of my followers what blasphemy laws are all about, but obviously we need to explain to a lot of other people that are religious why blasphemy laws are morally disgusting. You look at what goes on in Pakistan, for instance, or anywhere like that. Just somebody who's accused of doing something can be put to death. Or, of course, in the case of just opening up a dialogue in a blog or something like that, you're arrested, you can be whipped, imprisoned for years, and even killed in certain countries. In fact, a woman in Afghanistan was recently beaten to death by a mob in central Kabul after she was accused of burning a copy of the Quran. A large crowd cheered while men kicked her to the ground and pelted her with rocks. The body was then set on fire and thrown into a river. So that shows you what can happen just by being accused of something. Utter ridiculousness, and it's something that should never get within the laws of even a country, let alone international law. So anyway, highlighting that for today, and peace. There'll be another one tomorrow promoting the National Secular Society. Take care.